Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for waiting for this very delayed hangout. I said 10 minutes ago, about 40 minutes ago. Okay. Greetings, everybody in chat. What we're going to do today is we're going to look into a way of just starting to demolish, well, not starting to, a way to demolish the globe to globelings who like looking at the stars and the moon and the sun, and then bringing it back to Earth and breaking it there too. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going is the distance between the border between Morocco and Algiers, straight line down to Cape Town, the bottom tip of South Africa. That's 5,000 miles. Use that as a rule for anywhere else. So you'll appreciate it if you've got that. Cut yourself a paper rule, okay, with that distance key. That way you can bend it, measure. Because we're going to see how my map is much more accurate than Google Earth. For goodness sakes, how can that happen? All those resources, and a guy with like no resources goes and does a map that's more accurate, much more accurate than any other map. So, okay, here we go. First off, come on, screen share, play nice. Have you all seen that Scottish teacher being a complete brainwashed drone to the kid? It's like, wow, how to be inclusive? Well, you're excluded. Your point of view, we don't approve of that. What about points of views that are completely moronic, like that there's more than one sex? Oh, yes, they're fine. As long as your opinion is ridiculous enough, it can be included. If it's common sense, then no. It's free. Moonbug. What we're going to look is Buffalo, Charleston, and Quito. And then we're going to compare with what the globe says with this lovely model made by Sly Sparkane. In fact, wait, first we'll discuss what the globe says. This red line goes all the way to the moon, okay? Let me pan out, there you go, all the way to the moon. In scale, supposedly, okay? Now, the moon makes approximately 12.5 degrees of its circle, so its orbit, approximately 12.5 degrees per day. That's the math. But that's what we're going to debunk. We're going to demolish it. The math is based loosely on observation. But the observations vary so wildly that what they do is they just average out, you know, like Sly Sparkane taking two triangles and converting it into a third triangle and using that to invent a triangle for triangulating the ISS and the moon. Well, that. So here we have Buffalo. I have set all of these to the 21st of August, 17. If this was correct, the day after, well, if we let me play it, let me make sure I've got it set to slow. Yeah, okay. So we're going to start measuring. Okay, this blue line is marking time. So, you know, Earth rotation under the sun. When it gets to that point, this was the eclipse point, but ignore the eclipse, forget the eclipse. We're looking at the moon's orbit around Earth. So when the time was this, a full cycle round back to here would make one of those things we call a day. Okay, so let's see where the other line will be when this has gone round a day. Okay, so play. It's ultra slow motion at first, and then goes quickly, and it's probably going to catch me out. But let's see. I'll try to stop it in time. So remember, approximately 12.5 degrees per day is the moon's orbit around Earth. So you'd think, well, the next day, the moon's orbit will have precessed another, well, 12.5 degrees. That's what we're going to look at, and this is how you can demolish the globe with their celestial observations. Okay, so here we go. Soon it's going to start going quickly, and then I'm going to try to stop it. And there. Oh, just passed. Let's pretend that this was here. The blue line was here. Okay, you can't actually stop it here. The closest it stops is here. Okay, but we'll pretend it's here. This was the point the day before, 24 hours earlier. And now, according to the globe, and according to people like Slice Arcane, who don't really bother checking the details properly because they believe their prayers, okay, this is part of the prayer on which the faith of the globe is based. The prayer says 12.5 degrees moon orbit per day. Here it's showing about 13 degrees, okay? From here to here, 13 degrees, okay? So this is the next day. This is 24 hours after the eclipse. So I've come here. I'm ignoring the eclipse. We're looking at the 24 hours. I have placed the moon. So I've chosen same longitude. Okay, the 3 points are on the same longitude. So same line, same. Okay, this was correct. So the compass in terms of north, east, west, and south here. Okay, so this would be from Buffalo. You'd have to look directly south to the moon. Okay, that's the moon's highest point on that day, directly south. Okay, so the next day, the moon should have precessed 12.5 degrees. So let's take a look. Oh, it says 158 here instead of 180. That's not 12.5 degrees. It's more like 22 degrees. Okay, let's go to Charleston. This place did see the eclipse, but again, we're ignoring the eclipse. We're just checking the moon versus time. So let's go to 24 hours after this point. That's all I'm doing. The time setting here is the same. I'm not changing anything. We're just moving ahead to the next day. Same time, next day. Let's see where the moon is. Oh, that's 151 degrees. That's 29 degrees. That's not 12.3. Let's go to Quito. Okay, so here we are, Quito. Here is reversed. The protractor is reversed. It's just, it's as close as I can get it to 360, which is also 0. Okay, so let's look at the next day. Next day, oh, 54 degrees. Well, this turns out to be absolute gibberish. If this was worked out from Quito, for instance, at this point, this red line would have to be, well, at 54 degrees, which would make 10, 20, 30, 40, 54 degrees over here. The azimuth from Quito would be in this direction, completely at odds with this model. And people might say, oh no, you have to take elevation into... No, you don't. Don't be so silly. Your model is based on a combination of observations, then translated into a mathematical construct. The observations are true. It's the mathematical construct that's false. and it's demonstrably false. If you don't think it's demonstrably false, then model this. Model the moon from the 21st of August to the 22nd of August from Quito. Just model that. And when you model that, you'll see you can't quite make the others match. You can't make this one match. Either. So this is what you'll find. Can you see? Can you see? And you might say, but this isn't a sphere. Like, it doesn't matter. You can draw yourself a straight line and then do this to it if you like. Okay? Do you understand, globelings? You have to start modeling your globe. If you don't model your globe, you won't be able to troubleshoot when you come across people like me. You will not be able to troubleshoot, not on the spot. So this is why people like Sam and Dan and Conspiracy Cats give me a wide berth, because they can't troubleshoot. They can repeat their stuff, but once you have a good enough understanding and you prod at it, it just it dissolves like a phantasm, like a ghost. Now we're going to take it to the earth, to the surface of the earth. So just bear with me 1 second. First, we're going to screen share. I tell you what, no, I'll screen share the whole thing. Yeah, that will make it easier. Okay. Here we are. Okay, I'm going to play a small portion of this video. This video is made by people who are sailing round the world. Listen carefully to what they say. It's going to show a route which I have plotted on Google Earth, and I will show on Google Earth. Okay, so let's take a look.
8 countries later, and
he just said 28 countries later. I've slowed it down because it's kind of fast.
25,000 nautical miles.
25,000 nautical miles. This man has no reason to lie. This guy is saying what his log is showing him. Okay.
We're only halfway around the world.
And we're only halfway around the world. They end in the Philippines here. Watch.
Halfway around the world.
Okay. I've taken some time and plotted that on this globe. This red line is that path plotted on Google Earth, on the globe. Now, let me see where I have my notes. The distance of this red line, which I'm now going to trace again whilst you're viewing, is approximately 16,450 nautical miles. You'll note that that's quite different to 25,000 nautical miles. You know, 16 and a half versus 25. So now I'll replot this whilst we're all here viewing. Move this to the side. And let's see how this goes. And you'll see it will come to approximately that. Okay, so they set off from here. Came down. Now this is another thing that the globings just don't bother to actually do, because when they do, the few that have, they've just dropped it. And this, you have to have this in mind, flat earthers. Globelings absolutely drop anything that goes against their model. They don't discuss it. They don't bring it up. In fact, they try to sidestep it, a bit like Oakley does whenever something goes against his half-witted conceptions of the flat earth. That's dishonest, okay? Globelings, we know globelings are dishonest, just like some flat earthers are dishonest. like Nathan Oakley, for instance. Anyway, what globe links will do is sidestep this. They will not plot this, because if they plot this, they'll find that it's going to show them the same thing that it's showing me. It's the same program, after all. And all I'm doing is I'm trying to basically retrace the line I made not so long ago. Going through the regions that they say in their video. And I urge you to do this too. Okay, please don't just watch the videos and don't check yourself. I know it's fun just watching the videos and seeing, well, if that guy's done it, then must be fine. I check, because I could make a mistake. It's still not going to be a mistake that makes it 25,000 miles long. That's for sure, because I'm going to show you. Okay, and down to, oops, let's move this one a bit farther. Oh, sorry. Farther over. I'm trying to hit the markers where they went, and also like Andy the Divine Plane, try to give as much be as lenient towards the globe as possible. So finding like the longest type route, but there's only so much you can do when you've got islands to hit, like here. Okay, and across. And you can see the miles at the top in this here. And now, if you have a discussion with a globe link and the globe link absolutely refuses to plot anything and check any distances on their supposed just under 25,000 mile circumference globe Earth, if they refuse to plot the distances, then you know that they're just holding on to it like a faith. And they really are holding on to it like a faith. We know this pretty well. Down around here. It gets really tricky around here. So, to there. Okay. It's showing 16,446 nautical miles. So I'm going to save that again over the other one. 16,446. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace a line for that extra 9,000 miles that they're missing, that the globe is missing on this route, which is their route. Okay. Some people might think, oh, well, if you went across here and they came down more, it's like, sure. You can think that if you like. Let's check it, shall we? We're going to go from, get the rule again, and we're going to do a line this time. We're going to go from here. We're going to just totally violate all lands, national lands that we might have to cross over to see how long this, let's see, 9,000. I'm going to make it 9,000 miles long, nautical miles. There. Okay. Look at this yellow line. Let me get rid of the grid. We'll make it a lot easier to see. Look at the length of this yellow line. That's 9,000 nautical miles, which is what they're missing from their journey. And I'm not calling them dishonest at all. I think they've traveled that distance. What's missing this distance is Google Earth, not those guys on the boat. Okay. This yellow line is missing distance. Can you see? All of this yellow line is missing from their route. Now, some time ago, I plotted the route for the China-Europe block train, and it came short by about 1,000, just over 1,000 miles. okay? The route goes from Madrid here, goes all around Europe and goes across. Right. You can't fit it on Google Earth. It's too short. Google Earth is too small. The distance is wrong, okay? And the distance is mean sea level distance. Now, this map is too small. You can't fit that route to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go like this. Sorry, let me get the path. So clear that. What you'd have to do to fit the China-Europe block train is do something like this to allow for that extra distance. Actually, it was more like this. To allow for that extra distance, either that or you'd have the train, you'd have the train stopping around here, which is like, you know, water. You think the drivers would notice if they were like suddenly going into the ocean. So this is what we have with the globe. When you take the globe, you plot distances on the globe, it goes really wrong. When I said, those of you who have my maps or who've printed the latest maps especially, okay? Those of you that have them, let me stop screen sharing now. Get them out and measure that. I measured it yesterday on one of my maps with a piece of string. Here's the string, okay? And it came up to approximately 25,000 miles. That's not nautical miles, that's miles. I was measuring my keys to miles. I haven't then bothered converting or, no, it was like approximately 25,000 miles, okay? How can a route work on a flat Earth map, but not work on a globe? How can two routes work on a flat Earth map, but not on a globe? There's something really wrong with the globe if that's the case, and that is the case. Ergo, there really is something wrong with the globe. Okay, so, oh, wait, let me, in case anybody wants to double check that, I'm going to paste that video. Sorry, I closed the window by mistake. The video of the, with the route that I just plotted. Here, 1 second. I'm going to paste it in the chat. Then you guys can check for yourselves. And, you know, it's a cool video. I love watching videos like this. And sometimes you have one that has a little nugget like that. Like, oh, that's interesting. See, that's not in the flat Earth journals or the, you know, no, that's just people in the real world traveling. And has it pasted? And yeah, there you go. What up, Antonio? Lone Hyena, what up, dude? Okay. Now, there's somebody called Fudmartin. Sorry, 1 second. Who writes this? You do know that a nautical mile is 1 minute of angle on a circle the size of the circumference of the Earth, right? Like, that's okay, Fudmartin. Plot it. Plot it on your globe. It's okay, you know, plot it, because it's distance. It's distance, you know. A nautical mile is distance. You can then say that that distance represents this. It doesn't matter. It's distance. Plot it on your Google Earth. Thank you. Oh, wait a minute. This sounds handy. Zonk, Jimmy, Antonio, you can use full stop and comma to move forward or back 1 frame at a time. Good. Well, thanks for that. Comma and full stop. Okay. Thanks. I did not know that. Thank you. And then somebody who's got a bit of a heretical name. writes that 900 nautical miles should be 1/4 of the circumference. All right. So where's this? Oh, by the way, this what Fudmutton was saying. Okay. You do know that a nautical mile is 1 minute of angle on a circle the size of the circumference of the Earth, right? How long is that, Fudmutton? Is it distance? So plot it. Just plot it, you know. Not so difficult. I just did it, and I did it live, you know. Oh, wait, there's somebody called Zombie Wolf. WGS84, on which Google Earth and most navigation is based, is used daily. Not a single mention of it not working. You're making stuff up, Antonio. What I'm making up is stuff that I can show on your Google Earth. Do you hear? Earth is seriously flat, writes with a donation. Please, no donations. If the globe numbers don't add up, you must be a flat earther. Yeah. Ah, Alexander, you can have a wrench. Long time. I do wish that I could find that video that George did. Well, find a good an English version. It's a good one. So let me go back to this guy, Zombie Wolf. Oh, sorry, Wolf. Zombie Wolf. On which WGS 84, on which Google Earth and most navigation is based, is used daily, and not a single mention of it not working. You're making stuff up, Antonio. What I've done is I've taken a video by people who are sailing. They're real people. I didn't make them up. They said 25,000 miles on that route hitting those countries. Got it. I plotted that on Google Earth. Did you see that part? Google Earth said that was 16,464 miles. Or something like that. Not 25,000 miles. Do you see? So when you say no mention, not a single mention of it not working, that's a bit of a kind of strange, almost absurdist way of looking at the world. How would you know whether it's a single mention? Let's imagine that there was one single mention on a boat somewhere in the middle of the Atlantic. How would you know that there's that mention? Would you? Do you think that sailors are going to go to the port and say, hey, the distances are wrong, you better change Google Earth? No, they arrive at the port, they go and get their provisions, they go and have some fun. Okay, good. So this is what happens. When you get globelings, you say to them, look, why don't you model your globe and model it with the moon on the eclipse from Quito for the day before, the day of the eclipse, and the day after. Just do that. Incorporate those degrees on your rotating Earth with a distant moon. And then match it with other locations on different longitudes for the same day, and then different latitudes for the same days. Because when flat earthers do it, and we do it, it doesn't work out at all. Like, it really doesn't. There was a video by Indonesian flat earthers. Was it Indonesia? Yeah, Indonesian flat earthers who modeled the eclipse, the correct distance, everything correct, the correct degrees, turning and orbit, and it's like, oh look, approximately a third of the eclipse, according to Earth's rotation, which is the time, approximately a third of the eclipse, the shadow's falling out of the Earth already. Approximately a third of the eclipse. It's like it's missing, but in the real world, the eclipse was happening. But according to the distances and the double length linear velocity, missing. But globulins don't. They don't bother checking. Oh, okay. Zombie Wolf writes, You have no clue. Wrong navigation would cost billions. Of course, they would mention it. No, dim dim. It's like this. The navigation and what's done by captains on ships, the part that would cost billions, okay, like merchant navies, they have official secret acts. Did you know, Zombie Wolf? Do you know what an official secret act means? Just type it in the chat and have fun. Do you know what the official secret act means? Adrian Franazek, miles and nautical miles, yes. So when the Globelings refuse to actually plot things, like, don't argue with me, argue with Google Earth. Say to Google Earth, hey you, why aren't you showing this distance, this route, to be 25,000 nautical miles? Why are you showing it to be 16,500? Zombie Wolf, this is the last time I'm going to say this to you. Why does Google Earth show 16,500 miles instead of 25,000 miles? If your next comment is not an answer to that, then you're getting banned for time wasting. Okay, so why does Google Earth show 16,500 miles instead of 25,000 miles? The Cock of God writes, I'm a sailor by trade. I serve the US Navy 5th Fleet. Okay, can you tell us, did you ever find any discrepancies? Did you ever plot on a globe? Oh, Zombie Wolf didn't reply properly. Multi-Tom points something out, which is true, of course. Navigation existed way before WGS 84. Of course, dim dim. But let's not be too harsh, because some of the people, especially people with names like Zombie Wolf, are young people. And I don't think we should be abusive to young people. Just because they're young and haven't had that much experience doesn't mean that they're lost, you know, or that they're just bad people. Okay. So here's the thing, Zombie Wolf. Oh, you're 54. Well, then that's a bit of a silly name that you have, Zombie Wolf. Anyway, the question was, why does Google Earth show 16.5 thousand miles, give or take, instead of 25,000 miles? That's the answer. Why does it? I'm going to read Sasha's comment. I used to sign up to 18 pages of non-disclosure agreements for a single TV taping. There are big secrets around us. So in case people don't know, Alexander Sasha works in Hollywood. He works on TV and that. Oh, in the entertainment industry, the TV and film, and with music, soundtracks and whatnot. So I think that's what it is, isn't it? Yes. Oh, wait, here's an interesting. So yes, non-disclosure agreements. George Smith, greetings, George Smith. Listen, if you can find a video of what you've made that video about in English, please pass it to me. I can't find any. And I don't know if it's just too controlled from where I am, or I don't know. I have spent some time looking, and it's all equations, but none of the actual footage like you show in your video. A few years ago, I'm going to read George's comment. A few years ago, I read that the captains of ships from Australia have their diaries in which they record the exact distances on the surrounding islands. There's a video. Hey, Flat Earth Subgenius. There's a video of two guys sailing from Sydney to New Zealand, and halfway through, they're saying to themselves, and they're videoing this sailing, saying, how the heck are we still so far away if we've been sailing this long? Like, dude, look how far away we are. Look at look at the radar, look at all the GPS. It's telling us we are really bloody far, but we've been sailing for ages. How are we so far away, considering how long we've been sailing? Their words. So, Zombie Wolf, if you're 54, you should have more common sense and you should go and check things. Flat Earth is seriously flat. Please don't quit giving donations, like really. Okay, Zombie Wolf, excellent. Frank Zappa, absolutely brilliant, excellent, brilliant. Why does Google Earth show 16,500 miles instead of 25,000 miles? Saying because you used it wrong means there's a more correct way of using it, in which case go ahead and use it the correct way and show the 25,000 miles. It's really easy. Whilst I was making that video, whilst I was making that, I kept repeating that this is something Globalings will not do, because when they try, they see it doesn't work, they drop it and they don't bring it up again. In fact, they avoid it like the plague if it ever comes up in discussions. Okay? Okay. Helen DeGeneres, it gives Nathan lots of donations too. I don't want donations. The chat, the super chat is enabled in case I want to divert Globalings to it. Like Wolf, Zombie Wolf, I'm about to direct him to it because it's a bit silly, you know. He has access to Google Earth. He could plot it himself and go, by golly, you're correct, Antonio. Can I see the original video? I'd love to take a look at it. The Cock of God. I pasted the link in the chat. In fact, tell you what, I'll paste the link again. I think I've still got it clipped. Nathan is a money whore. Nathan is an empty person. He's not a normal human being. We have to understand this. There are humans that walk around that are human beings, you know, DNA, heartbeat, all of, but they're not a full human being. They're empty inside. There's a vacuum, a void. Usually, but not always, usually that kind of vacuum or void is caused by some horrible trauma at a very young age. So it's kind of, you don't know whether to attack it very directly or not, you know, because if it's somebody's behaving a certain way because they were traumatized as a child, it's like extra insult to injury. Earth is seriously flat. I've said no more donations, okay? Do not make another single other donation. Okay, I mean it. No donations. Okay, so Zombie Wolf, from now on, if you want to make any more comments, I'm timing you out. Okay, if you want to make any more comments, make them through super chat. You know, like I've been telling that flat earther to stop making donations. I don't want donations. I want to see whether Globalings are so convinced of what they're saying that they would pay to say it, or if it's just nonsense propaganda, not going to bother checking with Google Earth, not going to bother anything, just here to propagandize, in which case you won't bother doing a donation. You know, you won't bother using super chat. That's fine with me. Got rid of you either way. And if you do donate something, I don't take it out of YouTube, so it doesn't really go anywhere. It's just a good way of stopping people like you from continuing with your silliness. You have access to Google Earth. It's free. Okay, so the Coco God writes, because 16k miles, so 16,000 miles, is very near 25.7 kilometers. I'm going to predict the confusion lies here in this conversion. But I'll take a look at your video and I'll get back to you. Okay? You see, Google Earth, I'll show you now. Okay, so what, oops, sorry. This one. So the cock of God. Please pay attention. Okay, here's Google Earth. You see this here? It says nautical miles. So watch. See that? Nautical miles. You can change this to, well, miles, and it tells you the miles, or kilometers, and it tells you the kilometers. So, I mean, this is quite straightforward, or meters even, okay? Oh, let's go to centimeters. So it converts it, it's right here, the conversion is here, okay? Here. So if there is an error, it would be a huge error by Google Earth, which would mean that, let's say that their nautical miles, they were playing nautical miles, I don't know, as if they were kilometers, let's say, okay? So this is set to nautical miles. This is the distance key I have, okay? Here it says 4,314 nautical miles. You convert it to miles, it should say about about 5,000, okay? 4,964, okay? So if you want the key, fellas or girls, boys and girls, from the very bottom tip to the border between Morocco and Algiers here, just here, okay? See, 5,005 miles. That's the key for my map. You can then use this to measure the width, the distance between. So that's 5,000 miles, which would be 4,349 nautical miles, the cock of God. The error is that the Earth isn't a globe. That's the error. And when people aren't pushing an agenda, flat versus globe, when they're just reporting straightforward observations, it turns out if you try to translate those observations into the globe, it really doesn't work. I'll show you, I'll give you an example. Okay, wait, I'll stop screen sharing for a second. Furmutton. Right, so I've driven most of the length of the I-95. Does that count? I know people who've driven all over the US, and they say, actually, what's this? Wait, what? You can have a wrench. There's all kinds of discrepancies in the US. There's discrepancies everywhere, but there's all kinds of discrepancies. North to south, south to north, east to west, west to east. Distance taken, which direction, how long it should take at the speed you're doing. All kinds of just small discrepancies that you can't do anything with. You can't go to your local town hall and say, hey, this place is supposed to be 625 miles from that other place. It's closer to 700. They're gonna just go, right, okay, thank you. But never mind that. I was gonna look for a video to show how. Oops. Things, observations that happen in the real world, like for instance, the moon being too far north, or the sun being too far north, or north right now. Let me see. Let's see which has the most impact. Just give me a second. Just bear with me whilst I just mull through videos. Oh, I know. Nah, I can't find it. But I will find something else. You might have heard, Globelings, of the miracle of Fatima, which was studied, like, in the real world by real people, including physicists. What the heck is going on? What is this? What is this? What did all those people say they saw? Was there anybody credible there who saw any of these things that these plebs say they saw? Okay, so now what you're going to see, the Globelings are no doubt going to dismiss, and this is why I feel sorry for them. They're going to dismiss what they're about to see and say it's some kind of malfunctioning camera. But unfortunately for them, this is going to happen increasingly often, to the point that they themselves will see them. They will see this. At that point is when they will have a breakdown. All you have to do is write pulsating sun. Some of the people who have filmed these, knowing the objections, have put their finger in front of the lens between the sun and the lens to show, no, actually it's not. Camera trying to adjust for light. So Globelings, what you're seeing now is the sun becoming brighter and dimmer and brighter and dimmer. And there's lots of these, by the way. The first big event with the sun became called, or became known as the miracle of Fatima. This was not that good. Pulsating sun, Africa. And now, apparently, now it's fine to show these videos. When I first showed these videos, the video was banned worldwide by YouTube. It was on my previous channel, the channel that got killed for showing things with the sun that people didn't know about. For things with the sun that people hadn't expected, like it being too far north from the Arctic Circle. Now, the globelings watching, you'll be saying, no, that's definitely some camera, something going wrong with the camera. There's just something going wrong with the camera. And the people who are looking up at the sun, it's just a coincidence. They're just looking up at the sun coincidentally, you know, just because they just happen to look up at the sun. This is Nigeria. Okay. For Nigerians to be looking and waving at the sun like they're doing right there would be the equivalent to Eskimo stopping and going, oh, look at the snow. If Eskimos stop and look at the snow, it's because there's something extraordinary about the snow. These people aren't pretending to be looking at the sun for some kind of con, you know. So let's look at this one. I haven't seen this one. Nah, this is BBC. No, this isn't video. This is just photos. Anyway. And when you have cloud in front of the sun, people can just say, oh, no, it's just a cloud. Hey, sure. Anyway, so let me stop screen sharing. Globe believers, this is your problem. You can't handle your theories of the world being wrong. We all, every single flat earther had to handle that because we all had the same theory of the world. We all grew up on the same illusory spinning globe. Every single one of us. None of us was born and brought up a flat earther. So we are saying, look, guys, the difference between the spinning globe and the real world is in the head. Everything functions the same. Don't start thinking, oh, everything works the same. Except you realize how easy it is to trick people by just repeating and insisting that people answer what you want them to answer. Like the young lad who's just been told, who's just been excluded from a lesson about inclusion for pointing out that there are only two sexes. That kind of thing. Sorry, 1 second. And what happens with you globelings is the majority of you atheist, or a large number of you atheist, and you can't handle the possibility that your atheism might be wrong, that the whole Big Bang might be as ludicrous as you first thought it to be when you first heard about it. When you first heard that out of nothing, spontaneously everything, in an energy form that later, over a long period of time, that energy form became, well, matter over a long period of time. And that matter, even though it's all expanding, some of it decided to go against the rules and start contracting and forming bodies in space. Okay. As ludicrous as that is, and you've believed it and repeated it, as ludicrous as that is the silliness of thinking that atheism is a legit way of looking at the world. Yeah, we're just here for a while, we don't know really why, and then we die and we're not here anymore. That worldview is wrong. It's wrong, and part of the reason that lots of atheists are atheists is they never have any extraordinary situation happen to them, anything truly phenomenal. No, everything's mundane. They have the kind of mind that doesn't suffer synchronicities. But then you have all the people that do have synchronicities. Some of them turn to religions, and others, like me, I don't turn to religion, but I understand, like, dude, that's just complete silliness. This atheistic, nah, everything's just mechanical and without ideas. Just things happen. No, without idea or thought, just poof. Yeah, because that's possible. Like, well, no, it's not possible. Well, never mind that. It violates your theories of thermodynamics. Never mind that. Oh, wow. That's interesting. Space ain't fake. If you want to say anything, say it through Super Chat. Thank you. Famesius. Big Bang Theory was coined by a Jesuit. Yes, it was. And then it was pushed by physicists. And just because somebody is a Jesuit doesn't mean he's a good guy. Like, hello. It's really simple. All of those Catholic priests that rape children aren't really Catholic religious believers. Do you understand? They're not really. Like, if they were, they wouldn't rape children. Do you see? It would be like a pacifist going to war to kill people. It's like, if you're doing that, you're not a pacifist. Do you understand? It's stop thinking in terms of a binary code 0 1 1 0. Just stop thinking it such simplistically. Let's see. Flat Earth data. Not enough people know the book of Zohar teaches the spinning ball and string theory. I didn't know that. So, and now there's something else. All these Jesuits, search about it, Jesuits, so everybody, anybody who ever went to a school, to a Jesuit school, is a Jesuit. Like, no, it takes more than that to be a Jesuit. You don't just go to a school and then go about your life, but you're a Jesuit agent. That's not how it works, guys. The Jesuit order is the equivalent to the CIA. Look at it that way. You might live in Langley, doesn't mean that you're a CIA agent. So I'm looking in the chat. So if you wanted to, think about this, okay? Let's say there was a good way of seeing the world, and that this good way of seeing the world was attached to a religion. We're just going to play ideas. There's a good way of seeing the world, and that good way is attached to a religion. How do you if you want to disrupt that good way of seeing the world, if it's attached to a religion, well, you can't just attack the good way of seeing the world. You have to attack the religion. So what would you do? You would infiltrate the religion, and you would do things like encourage pedophilia, which is strictly forbidden according to the Bible. That's how you would corrupt the good way of seeing the world. That's how. You then get rid of the religion, you make the religion all just a sham, and then people are left with, well, you could be a different sex for all you know. You know, I know that you're a guy, but you might really be a woman or a giraffe or something. Anyway, so there you go. Something hit me recently. Ball Earth Court, when will you be fighting Sleeping Warrior? I'm waiting for him to accept. Make a video accepting. Wait, what? Right. Never mind. Oh. So interesting, the distractions people get into. So I'm going to address the Globelings. Hey, Globelings, did you know that now your theory has changed to incorporate the moon within Earth's atmosphere? That's right. Your brain, if you've not heard this already, your brain will go, no, Earth, atmosphere, moon here, no. Like, no, don't be so silly. Don't think so simplistically. Now, the Earth's atmosphere is an atmosphere. That's right. It's an egg-shaped thing that encompasses the moon. Between the Earth and the moon, you know that tidal pull thing? Well, atmosphere between the two. I'm going to do a drawing for you. Earth, moon, atmosphere. Look, Earth, moon, atmosphere. Like very thin here, very thin. Here, a lot more dense. But still part of the same atmosphere. Now that's used, not some of you haven't heard that. It's your guys that are saying this, not flat earthers. But it kind of didn't really take hold. So it's being dropped like so many things get dropped when they don't really take hold, you know? Lewis Hackett, got a little neck fat there, Tony. Yes, I do. True story. I'm going to tell you all. I told some of you already. So a while ago, add moderator. Now you've got a wrench, Lewis Hackett. A while ago, I hear about beef-only diet. Think, sounds interesting. I like beef. I've tried the veganism thing. I could try the beef. But I'm not just going to try the beef. What I'm going to do first, I'm going to put weight on. I'm going to spend about 3 months putting weight on. And then I will start and I will make a take a photo every single day so that at the end of a whole year, eating only beef, it will show this, you know, before and after. Okay. And then about a month into eating only beef, I got fed up. I thought, oh, I can't be bothered with this. And I quit. But I'd already put the weight on. I'd purposefully put weight on to do that. And now I'm losing it slowly, you know. But yes, well spotted, sexy. Title, How to Demolish the Globe, Mike Sanders. That's right, that's the title. So, Lewis, go and watch the start of this. Go on, go and watch the start. Plot it on your Google Earth. Mike Sanders proceeds to talk gibberish. No, look, Mike Sanders, you've come in late. Okay, I'm going to give you a wrench too, but you've come in late. So when you say proceeds to talk gibberish, you sound like a dim-dim, because you've not heard what's already been said. See, this is how we know that you, some of you Globelings, really are very, very dim. Imagine this. You walk into a philosophy class, okay? And the teacher has explained various different facets of phenomenology. Okay, so what it means, the basic details, and he's then explaining the difference between shared phenomena and individual or subjective phenomena. Okay, you walk in when he's saying, so while some people feel warm, other people feel cold, and you're like, and this is philosophy, is it? Some people feel warm, some people. That's what you sound like. You sound like a complete half-wit. It's hilarious to me. It is. It's like, wow. Anyway. Whose meat? Flat enough. Chuck the Canuck. Yeah, I know lots of people eat mainly fish and other stuff. I tell you what, veganism was freaking bad. Look, it level-headed, right? Riley will be known as Beaten Warrior soon. The guy will just not accept, and he'll force me to start the whole thing and then pursue him and have people pressure him. And I will say that I can't guarantee it, in which case anything that people donate I will take to a charity and say, from your friendly neighborhood flat earthers on camera. There you go, all of this money, and I will give it to them physically, like the physical money. Here you are, help the aged. Because, like, you think level-headed, you think that by now he would have made a video accepting, saying, yeah, come on, you know, all that kind of stuff. Hey, where's Lewis gone? I don't see you, Lewis. I don't see any comments, Lewis. You have a wrench. What is it? Anyway. Big Dog, can someone explain to me how globalists think they see the same star constellation 6 months apart when you're literally looking at 180 degrees in opposite directions at night? It's because the globalists don't really understand the concept of absolute direction. They go, oh no, well the sky scrolls. Like, okay, so in the middle of the sun, in the middle of the summer, at the equator, middle of the summer, in the middle of the night, looking out 90 degrees above your head, you have these constellations. 6 months later, you don't have the same constellations. They're over there, but never mind that. So everything is relative to them. I did want to do another drawing. This is for the globelings. Okay, so 5.5 times 5.5 times. Here's the Earth, here's the Moon. Okay, so whoop. And I'm drawing curved lines because they're just nicer. Okay, look, okay, 5.5 times the distance between the Earth and the Moon. What's 5.5 times that distance? So let me do this. So this distance between the Earth and the Moon, 5.5 times. So globelings, imagine Earth, Moon, really far, and that's one distance, and another distance, and another. Oh, wow, that's really far, and then another, and then another, and then a half more. That's how far Earth moves in a day. Okay? That's how far it moves in a day. So that would be from, say, nightfall to nightfall, or from middle of the night to next middle of the night. You get it? Okay. So here's the Earth, and here's the Earth. 5.5 times the distance in one day traveled, and there's Polaris, and there's Polaris. It's brilliant, isn't it? How Polaris has moved, you know, how it has moved, just like nothing actually does in the real world, you know, and that's just one day. And you can break it down and say, well, that's just under 1 degree, really. It's like, you're a moron. If you don't know what a degree actually means, then you're a moron. If you think it means nothing, you're a moron. In this case, 1 degree would mean 5.5 times the distance from the Earth to the Moon. This would be just under 1 degree, you see. So let's make it 6 months. Well, that's quite a big distance. Now, this would be in a slightly curved way. 6 months would make it, well, a diameter. You get it? Like through this diameter of the Earth's orbit. 6 months, and there's Polaris. So let's do that. Okay, this is now 6 months later. Polaris there. Yeah, it's almost like magic. How could it be like that? Well, because a wizard did it, innit? Lewis, I don't see you in the chat. What's wrong, pal? Oh, Lewis Hackett. Yes, Helen DeGeneres. Lewis Hackett is a globe troll. Notice how quiet he's being, though. Yes, he is. Hey, Lewis Hackett. Would you like to join on camera? Because you do go on camera. Would you like to join and explain to the viewers how Maxwell's demon is the reason we don't have over Unity devices? Do you want to come on and tell people? Huh? I'm checking. Let's see. Hammond Walker, don't give it to charity. Give it to some young people you see struggling. Give some elderly person buying something on the market. That's a really good point. Whichever I do, yeah, but if I do that, people just say, no, that must be your auntie or something. Mummy told him to clean the room. Louis Hackett. I like that. Yeah, I could do that. Okay. Adrian Franasek asks, tell us a bit more about your new book. How far are you? The new book, the one I'm working on right now, is fiction. It's not the second book of the Sun. I just want to get it out, and it would be more fun for globelings to read. It would be fun. Flat earthers will love it, but globelings will like it too, because it's not. Yeah. You know, just, hey, it's a good story, that kind of thing. That's Adam Meakin. That's Adam Meaking. I know you. Meakin, sorry. How you doing? I've given wrenches to some pretty heavy trolls, and strangely, they've gone silent. It's almost like having a wrench is just, I don't know, make them feel shy. You think that having a wrench, they spend at least some time being stupid people. Flat Earth Forex, that's right. Ramshackle skin coloured in a mangina. Yes, that's right. Now, let's move on, shall we? It's history. Gone. Gone. Am I talking ghosts? Nope. You might be listening to something earlier. Yeah. No, I'm not talking ghosts. Rune Thorson, wrench him so I can block him. Well, you can't block him if he's wrenched. Yeah, so demons. Yes, well, Maxwell's demon. So the story goes like this. Maxwell, you know, Maxwell's equations and thermodynamics, and you can't have more out than you put in. Okay, basically that's the fundamental premise on which all engineers and physicists who say you cannot have more than is put in. That's what they say. You can't have more than's put in. And along comes Tesla and says, yes, but we're not putting magnetism in. The magnetism is there all the time, and it's exerting itself all of the time. We can use that exertion if we want. Then they say, no, you can't, because it must be a closed system. Otherwise, you'll be breaking Maxwell's law. Okay. You say, what is this law? It's basically the reason you can't break that law, according to the conventional thinking, okay, or conventional wisdom, which is really when people say conventional wisdom, according to conventional wisdom, they mean according to people who haven't got a clue. Okay, so according to conventional wisdom, you can't have more out than you put in. You might not be putting anything in and you're getting things out, but you know, as long as there's some way of saying, well, this, like say, a piece of wood, you set it on fire, you're not putting fire in. The wood is providing the fire, you know, it's that, but it extinguishes it, it ends. So that's perfectly fine. But if you have a system that keeps like replenishing, like keeps delivering more, it keeps delivering more energy, like say, I don't know, the sun. Okay, well, you can't have that. Or anything. You can't have whatever you have, it must be finite. What about existence itself? Is that finite? Well, it must be. It's like, well, wait, if it must be because of Big Bang and that retardedness, doesn't the Big Bang itself, isn't that a violation of Maxwell's law? Isn't it a violation? Like, there was nothing, suddenly there was a lot. Like, so Maxwell's demon. Maxwell says, look, if you could have a box with a panel in between, okay? And on both sides of the panel, there were particles jumbled around, moving around. Some particles moving around slowly, being cold, and some particles moving around quickly, being hot. Those particles would bounce from the walls and everything. Say, wait a second, wouldn't the hot particles make the cold particles hot and lose some of their heat whilst doing that? Well, never mind that. Let's pretend they're idealized particles, okay? Permanently hot particles that don't pass on their heat to the cold ones, and permanently cold particles who don't take heat from the warm ones, okay? So fast-moving particles on both sides of the box, fast-moving particles and slow-moving particles on both sides of the box, okay? That would have a finite amount of energy. If you tapped into it, you get, like, say, piff energy, and then it's finished. But wait a second, if you had a demon in this box where the panel is, the partition, and this demon, and this isn't a joke, and this is not made up by flat earthers, okay? And this demon had a magic, like, portal, this door thing, like window thing, that didn't have any mass, okay? So it wasn't part, it didn't produce friction, there's no, the demon opening and closing it didn't add to the heat, okay? So, and the demon, he can see both sides of this partition, okay? And if he sees a fast-moving particle moving towards the door, okay, he's decided that side, I'm gonna get all of the fast-moving particles on that side and all of the cold ones on this side, okay? So he sees a fast-moving particle, opens the door, goes through, closes it quick before a cold one, sorry, before a hot one comes in this, okay? So, and then he sees a cold one moving, he opens it, and eventually this half is all cold particles and the other half is all hot particles. If the demon could do this, then out of that piff, that was a combined energy in the box, from the hot part, you might have a poof. That's more than was in. So the only way to get a poof amount will be to inject more heat in there, and because this demon might be able to do this, get more out by, you know, doing this, because there might be a way of violating my law. And then along comes someone and says, no, because you see, I think that the demon is contributing to it because the demon's having to delete how many times he's opened and closed the door from his mind. True story. So that has produced heat. That's entropy. That entropy has gone on, and that's part of why the extra. No, I'm not joking. That's how absurd that is. So because the demon can't isolate particles, that's why you can't have more in than out. Because a demon can't do it. And the demon's only a thought experiment. Yes. Like it's just a convenient little clause. Premise. Okay. It's just a premise. Could be a fairy, could be a wizard. Okay. But it's like, well, because a fairy, wizard, or demon wouldn't be able to do that without contributing to it. It's like, yes, it would. Yes, it would, actually. You have a fairy, a demon, and a wizard, and you have 3 of these boxes, and they're all doing the same task in all 3 different separate boxes. And this demon has been tortured, conditioned to open and close the gate, the door, the portal, without any thought, just automatic, on response, just like as a reflex, without dedicating or committing anything to memory, which he then has to delete. The fairy, any heat that she makes out of opening and closing it, that heat is what sustains her. Okay? That's it. That heat that she might make, that she might contribute, is what she uses as sustenance. Brilliant, huh? And now the wizard, it's mana. It's just mana. When any extra heat, he converts into mana, which goes and gives him armor of God. There you go. Doable. All 3 scenarios. So, yeah, looks like, yeah, you can get more out than you put in. Anyway. And that's why Simon Dan, poor guy, hasn't got just no chance. Conspiracy cats. That's the guy. That's the guy that's avoiding me like the plague. He has a wrench here too, by the way, as does Simon Dan. Okay. Like, I can't argue with this. He'll make me look stupid and delusional. And he might ask me how I feel about transgenders, which I would, obviously. So do you think there's more than one sex? Oh no, my wife is my wife's a teacher. If I say this and the teacher see that, they'll say to her, hey, what are you doing? Let your husband say this. And that's what happens in the real world. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up because I need the loo and I'm hungry. So that's how the world is. You have globelings saying the reasons for some of the laws that we have is that we can't think of a reason why they might be otherwise. Literally, we can't think of a reason why it might be otherwise. Therefore, it isn't otherwise. Is Simon Dan a fairy? I don't know. Don't think so. But could be. But if so, he definitely adds entropy. Anyway, there you go. The more physical work involved, the more quantity of food necessary. Flat enough. That's right. But if it's a fairy, the more physical work, the more quantity of food necessary. But the food is only to maintain, like sustenance. Well, she derives sustenance from the heat that she's outputting. So that is a self-feeding system. You know, like the tides of the world that go up and go down around the earth. Like the sun, like existence. And this is the problem with the globelings, because they can't imagine certain things. They say it's not possible. That's only because they're not very imaginative. They can't imagine the world existence having always existed. They can't imagine it. So what they do is they say it must have started at some point. And before that point, there must have been no existence. So 0. Before that, 0. But after, at some point, everything. Or at least the beginnings of everything. You know, evolution. So 0, 0, start of everything. Because they can't conceptualize of perpetuity, continuous existence without end. They can't. That sounds too religious for them. So instead, they go and they worship the globe. It's as retarded as thinking there's only, well, it's as retarded as thinking that the only opinions that matter are opinions that are so absurd today's only any that says no, actually there's only two sexes. There are some people born with both, not completely both, okay, with vestigials of one or the other. Doctors usually look and evaluate which has a which is more developed, and they then operate to eliminate what was vestigial, and the child grows up to be a normal boy or a normal woman, girl. But that's two, with one being a combination of those two, not two and a different type altogether and a different type altogether from those, and a type that's definitely not like any of those, and just endless types, including people being younger than they are, who just because they say it, and people being different species just because they say it. Those opinions, those are that's how absurd this world is. With the thinking, this is where the thinking that everything started from zero, and because scientists, and this is the thinking that matters. And even people saying, but wait, aren't you contradicting some of your own scientists? They say, that's the kind of opinion we don't appreciate. That's the world we live in. And those people who are saying that, who are also saying, and pedophilia is not a bad idea, really, if you think about it. If you just removed the drama, crime aspects, the unlawful, illegal thing, then everything will be hunky-dory. Those guys, the guys who are saying that are the guys who are saying everything came from nothing. We live on a globe. You can't get more out than you put in, because the demon can't do that. That's the world we live in. And that's why people like Lewis avoids Reds, all those guys that think they understand simple concepts like triangles and then blend them to arrive at different triangles. That's a transgender triangle. That's why it's wrong. Anyway, that's it, folks. I'm off. I need the toilet and some food. I hope you've enjoyed this. Bye.